guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Beauty. I'm your host, Gigi Jeans, where we talk all things business and beauty. On today's show, I have a very special guest all the way from Milwaukee. She's Atlanta's hair doctor. She has 10 online businesses. She's a mother. She is a super entrepreneur. She's a mentor. She's a speaker. She's an educator. Let's welcome Jasmine.
That was so good. Thank you. Beautiful.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You are busy.
I know.
I didn't even know how I can get you. You just got back from Sarah Jake's conference. What is it called? The Women's
Evolve.
The Women's Evolve.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was a good experience.
How many women were there?
40-some thousand, they said.
Have you ever spoken in front of a crowd that big?
Child, listen, I ain't spoken in front of 4, okay? When I say God will skip the line for you, child, I've spoken in front of like under 100, but 40,000, I'm like, get somebody else to do it. I don't know. I'm nervous. But it turned out really well. I wasn't really even nervous, honestly.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to start from the beginning of when I met you.
Okay.
All right?
Jesus.
So,
okay.
So when I first met you, Jasmine, you were Jazzy Wigs. You sold wigs. You were doing hair.
Jesus.
And that was kind of like your specialty. People were buying wigs. If you went to your salon, you had display of wigs and things of that sort. So bring me to like what brought you to Atlanta, what made you want to focus just on wigs, and then we'll work our way up from there.
Yeah. That's so good. And so I was Jazzy Wigs when I started off. And then I had to rebrand and pivot to being the Atlanta hair doctor. And so I came here with my husband at the time. And then 4 months later, we separated. And we were together for 10 years. And then who would have thought the pandemic would have happened? And so I didn't really I was Jazzy Wigs, so I didn't have like clients, and I didn't have nothing built because like you only here for 4 months and you ain't got no clients. And so, and then when the pandemic happened, girl, it was just the divorce, the pandemic. It was very, very hard. It was a very hard time in my life, right? And so you remember this, Gigi, I've talked to you about this before, like moving in my apartment, like infested with water bugs, like literally sleeping on the floor with my children, and rebranding myself through it all, going through the divorce, fighting for custody, losing a house that we had together, and just feeling like I didn't know who I was and whose I was. And so I was afraid to be alone at that time. I mean, I was going through not liking how I looked, my skin being heavier. I was going through all the things. And from there, I built a multi-million-dollar product line that has
Come
retired.
on now.
It
Yes.
retired
And this is all facts. I can co-sign this one. Okay, I can't talk about everybody else, but this one I visually have seen and have been out with and everything. So this is legit. Yeah. So this is a true story, because you have a lot of people on social media, they might talk about different things, and, drive a fancy car and sell courses. Jesus. But you have really, built this business and, you've worked with clients and you've had your product line and you let go of your salon suite and you are really doing this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so it has been very challenging. I have to be honest. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was easy. This living in Georgia has been one of the most challenging things I ever did in my life. Right. Of course, going through the divorce was hard, but then being here, you see everybody. The girls look good, their bodies look away, their businesses, they bins, and I'm over here like Thrifty and Goodwill and Facebook Marketplace, and that's where I started. And so now I give all glory to God. Like, I've been able to retire my mother, employ my family. I don't work. And so when I say I don't work, I literally only do what I want to do. And that is because I also met, shout out to my partner, Millionaire Barber. He taught me about how to, system talk. He always talked about, you need the digital. And so what I know now and what I try to teach other people is we need automated business systems. And so because a lot of people don't have that, they have nothing helping them work. And so I have 10 online businesses working for me 24 hours.
And so because they're automated, it's not something that you have to physically every day send out an email, send out a text message, do this, do that.
Once you build your brand, honestly, once you build a brand and you build a know, like, and trust, and that is something I had to do, you really, 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 like, people be like, I got to start the product. You need to build your brand. You need to build know, like, and trust. And so when I say 10 online businesses, we think about the average person, Gigi, works about, I don't know, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
There's 24 hours in a day. If I have 10 online businesses, that is 240 hours that is working for me. And so if the average person is only working 8 hours a day, what is that? It's 52 weeks in a year. Take away Christmas and Thanksgiving, that is 50, 50 weeks. You're working about 2,000 hours. And I'm working without working.
Wow.
87,600. I have an unfair advantage because I've learned how to leverage systems. And so because a lot of people, once they build their brand, first of all, you got to start with the niche within the niche. So let's go back.
Okay, let's go back. So we went from doing wigs to all of a sudden I see you posting videos. You're putting fruit and
the niche within the
and
niche.
berries, and we were like, "What is this? What is this?" You know, it was just I've never seen that before, and I feel like the audience had never seen that before. It went viral, and it was like, okay, what? So how did that happen? How did that come about?
Yeah, and so I have a lot of old hair books. I mean, like Cosmetology of the Negro is one that I love. And these hair books actually taught me what our ancestors was doing. Okay. You know, we're before the chemicals, and we're like what were they doing, right? Good hair was everybody had good hair. And good hair is not about the condition. I'm sorry, about the texture, it's about the condition. Okay. And so being in Atlanta where I was Jazzy Wigs, I really was never really like that good at wigs, and I'm like, how am I going to become like known for something? And so I prayed, and then I started learning that we need a niche within a niche. And so instead of me being a hairstylist, I became a scalp specialist. Instead of you being a house cleaner, you need to be the ceiling fan specialist or the baseboard specialist. Instead of you doing nails, you should become the cuticle specialist or the nail bed specialist. And now all of your content should be around that. So that's why you seen the fruit and the berries. And so I stopped doing styles. Remember, you were like, well, girls was coming downstairs like, you did my hair. You're like, your hair ain't done. So I learned how to leverage that too. I was charging $350
but
for 30 minutes.
But how did you even come up with that? Because y'all, listen. Now remember, we are working in the same building together, okay?
Yeah.
And I would have, my clients come down. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, I just, got my hair done by Jazz. I'm like, your hair not done. And they're like, no, I got a treatment. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, it was like $300. I'm like, what? I've never heard of that. Wow. So like, okay, you came up with, you have these books, you got these old holistic ways of doing something, 100%. But how did you choose like the price point and all of this? Like, how did you come up with that?
Well, I gotta be honest, I was initially the lowest paid natural hairstylist in Atlanta. I believe that wholeheartedly, in my opinion, right? And so I was like, well, how can I become the highest paid and add the most value? And that's when I learned about like specializing. And so for those who specialize, whether it's the house cleaner that's focusing on the baseboards, when someone needs their baseboards done, they're gonna call you. If you specialize in nail bed and my nail beds are all jacked up, I'm looking for a specialist. Us as women, when we go and have babies, we're looking for a specialist. And so we gotta bring this back into our business. What do you specialize in? And so people like, everybody doing hair, you don't have a specialty. Everybody doing lashes, you don't have a specialty. Everybody doing makeup, you don't have a specialty. So what are you going to become known for? So I had to really figure this out because I wasn't seeing it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started, at first I was the lowest paid natural hairstylist in my opinion, but I was offering 10 services. I'm doing colors, clip-ins, tape-ins. I didn't do tape-ins. So color, doing a sew-ins. You're doing all the services and you are the lowest paid. And so when I became the highest paid, I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. Either you can leave here with your hair blow dried or I can put you in 6 cornrows for a wig. And once I started doing that, people started to seek me out. I mean, I was having billionaires fly me. I was doing 10,000 scalp. $10,000.
Yeah, I know who one of those people are. That's between me. Yeah, now.
But I think
you were doing the people.
Yeah,
you were working with a lot of celebrities.
Yeah,
you had a good celebrity clientele. You were working with, you were booked and busy.
Yeah.
Now you're booked and busy. You're doing the celebrities. what made you say, you know what, I want to start my own product line? Were people asking you what products could they use outside of coming to you for the treatment? Is that how it happened?
Well, honestly, I was very like depressed about my hair when I was going through my when I was married. Actually, I had severe CCCA alopecia and traction alopecia, so I'd already had a product line. It just was like looking like something we did in our kitchen.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you really started this because of yourself.
Right. I started it because of myself, but I didn't know about branding and marketing and niching and becoming a specialist. And so once I started using the fruit and showing people how it worked and women started getting results and showing my results, it just blew up. And so so me having a 10 businesses isn't what carries me. The product line is what is so profitable that it carries me and my family. Yeah.
So products is where it's at.
Well, it depends.
Good products.
If you
quality products. Yeah. It can't just be
don't just be like
put your label on there and think it's gonna sell. It gotta really work. You gotta
build, And I started that too during the pandemic. You know, going through all the things I was going through, girl, I started that product line right there. But I will be honest, y'all, like people be like, consistency is key, and it sounds cliche. But like, Gigi, I don't care how sad I am, what I'm going through, I show up every single day.
So where does that come from? Where does that come from? No, seriously, right? Because some people, they get depressed, they just want to lay around, they want to go to sleep, they don't want to get out of the bed. How are you able to say, you know what, I'm not feeling it, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this content? Yeah. Where does that come from?
Honestly, though, I think it's just me seeing life through the eyes of faith. I know what's up. And so I know that the enemy wants us to be sitting down, not combing our hair, not working. And so I give the enemy no power. And so though I may feel like this, I know that this is all just a feeling. I'm not the emotion that I'm experiencing. And so when you going through stuff, you can't just be, oh, well, I ain't working on it. People, I'm like, why? My hair doctors, I don't feel like, how can y'all afford not to show up? When I am sitting here talking about I'm retired, but I know what I got to do on the back end, because though I'm retired physically doing hair, I'm still serving and educating now through, you know, to the whole world versus just, you know, a couple of, you know, one-on-one as far as having the client and then me. You get what I'm saying? Because we do one-on-one, like you service one-on-one, and then you also have your product line. So now, but when you're servicing to the world, it's one to many. And so I have so many people counting on me. It's like, I can't be like, oh, I just want to sit here. It's like, no. And I'm excited to continue to show up, you know, and help people.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So now, you know, you have this, you're growing your following. Everybody knows who you are. Do you feel like once you became the Atlanta hair doctor, do you feel like your friends and family supported you, or do you feel like some people were kind of envious of your success?
Yeah. I think the truth is, and I have to be honest.
I want you to be honest. Yeah.
You will lose people along this journey. And as I was growing, I was losing friends and besties and family members, and everybody think you're going to have my family don't support me. If you got a family that supports you, great. But some of us, we don't have that. And so, you know, during a journey of growing and becoming, you will lose people. And that's another thing, Gigi, I was honest with you about this. Like, Gigi, y'all was so nice to me, like the entire time from day one. Like, I could literally cry right now. Like, your energy and your aura and how you are. Never. And I'm over here, like, you know me, bringing them kids in.
Yeah, bringing the babies. They getting big now, honey. But yeah, you would bring them there. Yeah, I remember, you know. But look at you. Look at you.
Girl, and I just remember how nice you were to me. And I was telling my daughter, Dad, like, man, like, this girl has always been kind to me. And I thank you, because let's just be honest. Everybody want to be friends with the superstar or the person they feel like, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. But who's going to be with you when you ain't got nothing?
Right.
Like, your energy towards me, Gigi, was like, I was an Oprah. You treat everybody like that, and I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Because you don't get that. Like, I was really feeling like, dang, like, the girls don't really like me because I don't have a car, and I don't have the clothes, and I don't have this.
So you felt like it was a material 100%.
Thing. 100%. Okay. Atlanta is a place, y'all, I'm telling y'all, like, I try not to really express this, but I'm going to share it. This place will put you under. Like, you got stretch marks, you got a stomach, I mean, if you're not looking like a perfect doll and you ain't got the money and the riches, it literally can put you under. And so so my prayer life and my confidence, whether I have on a $20 sweater or which I ain't got no $200 sweater, child, but whether I chose to
I mean, you can,
you know what I'm saying? I could,
you know,
but I'm just saying, I still want to have the confidence. And so that's why it's important for us women to know who we are and whose we are, despite of what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just thank you, Gigi, just for always being just nice and genuine. Me bringing my kids after school and you just being so nice to us.
Yeah.
People don't treat you like that when you don't have things.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Okay. What? I know. And you know, I can agree with you. I moved to California and I had like $300 and I felt like I was driving my Toyota and people were looking at me like, girl,
yeah,
bye.
Nobody.
Yes. I definitely experienced that. Yeah. But in hindsight, I feel like I've always been the same person. Yeah, right? Yes. So you're still you.
Yes.
You just elevated you.
100%.
Right? So that's
100%.
why I believe like you should always treat people the same. I'm going to treat the CEO and the janitor and everybody that I meet the same because that can just be a time period
100%.
For that. And none of us are above that happening to any of us. You could be rich and then the next day lose everything.
Yeah.
So I just believe in being nice. That's just how I was raised.
Man, I thank you.
Yeah.
Because I remember how you used to just be, I used to be like, I like her so much. And you never changed.
Yeah. You've been with me, girl. You've been
never changed.
Baby showers
you never changed.
You know, you've been
never switched up.
Yeah.
And that's why any way that I can give back, whether it's, you know, like, oh, I want to think about her back, like I will go out my way for you because of how sweet you are. I'm serious, Gigi, because how you don't meet that. You don't meet people like that. You know, it's all like, and now it's like, you don't know. Once you kind of like go from here to here, you don't really know who to trust here.
And that's what I was going to say. So now you saying that like when you first got here, people treated you differently, right?
100%.
But now you have this huge platform, you know, you bringing in millions. Can you discern when people just come in your life just to tag along or just get information from you, or can you tell when someone that you do meet, they're coming from a genuine place?
Yeah, I think what for me is like, don't know who I am on social media. Like if I meet a girl, I love if she just don't know who I am. And then I know it's like, it's genuine.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you just know who I am, or do you want to pick my brain? Do you want to be my friend to do this?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, God, I want friends. I want women that's close to me. But it's like, once you build a brand and build something for yourself and your family, you kind of really don't know who to, so you have to have a strong discernment because you're just like, dang, what is this person?
You got to have God in your life.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can be an entrepreneur and not have God at the forefront. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like whether you're making money or you're not making money, you're still going to come into trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk about the business side. Now, you're in the salon suite. You're paying your booth rent and everything. Did you always know how to build your business credit or how to save money for like your overhead in your home? Did you always know how to balance your money, your finances?
Girl, no. I'm gonna be like, yes, I did not.
Right,
I did not. I ain't know how to balance nothing.
Okay.
And so no, I actually didn't. You know, I've learned a lot now with me having an accountant and stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a creator in my mind, and so I don't try to, like some people like, you need to know everything just in case. I honestly am just like, this is what I do. And so I don't try to learn how to cut the grass. Like I have my accountant, I'm trusting her. Now, one of the things I'm getting better at is all of the orders that comes in. And so let's just say like last week, if I make, you know, I don't know, last week I think I don't know, 17,000. And so I need to go back though and make sure that Shopify, that the deposits actually hit the account. But when it comes to just like knowing a lot about it, like, no, I can't even be like, girl, yeah, no.
Okay.
At least not on the front end. And there's things that I'm still learning now.
Right.
And so like one of the biggest mistakes, well, I'm not going to say biggest, but this was a big mistake that I learned as far as like even my car. I bought that Tesla X cash, and it was like, I don't know, I think I paid $90,000, but I should have put it in my business name, at least to get a write-off. And so what happened with my business, and this is where my business is, the business is so profitable that I have to find places to like, okay, what am I going to do with the money? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's where I am now. And that's a good problem to have, but it's just like, so now you got to like talk to people and know, because a lot of people who have businesses are not profitable.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh God, thank you. This is a good problem to have. But that was something I wish somebody would have told me, like, girl, just get the car in your business name, you know?
Yeah.
And it is literally like a business car. Like, I'm here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, we are failing our way to the top. You know, I don't feel
say that one more
like
time
we're failing our way to the top. We don't know. A lot of us are like first generational entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, who are you going to talk to about balancing your checking and looking at your business checking and paying taxes and doing all these different things? How will we know? Who are we talking to about it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're right. Because like I said, honestly, like that was something I didn't know about. And I was making so much money so fast. I think my mind was the brand. And like, I wasn't stopping. And so before you know it, I had like over $1 million cash. That's how I bought my home in cash. I had all this money because the money. And so literally you'll get a time in your life that's when God is just like blessing you. I mean, 2 years ago, we probably always making more than we are now. Right. But it's like, what did you do when you were that lucrative?
Yes.
And I was getting the heck out the way. I'm like, I'm retiring. I was like, car paid, house paid. I went out, I got debt free. I knew what it's like. You got to know, like, even a squirrel is preparing nuts for seasons that's not going to be fat. You know what I mean?
But unfortunately, people in our industry don't prepare. And so I'm so happy that like you're prepared, because I was telling you, you know, a lot of people in our industry, they're going back to 9 to 5s.
I know.
You know, the salon suites used to be booming. Like I said, our building is like half empty. Other people that I'm talking to, they're losing storefronts and stuff like that. So everybody is not necessarily preparing. It's like people are just living for now. Yeah. You know, but I feel like it's very important for you to prepare for later, because anything can happen.
Anything.
Yeah, that was smart.
Anything. So yeah, I think that, so when people talk about like things being slower, Gigi, I think of it like, well, if you prepare, right, and don't get me wrong, like everybody's gonna go and pay this and everything cash, but just being smarter, at least having a savings, right? And like, what does that look like for you? And so, and this is why it's good to be like smart with your money. Like everybody got this, everybody doing this, they taking trips. Well, you got to be smart. You know what I'm saying? And your life may look like that. Great if you can, but if you can't, at least put something to the side, so when things are a little slower, you can choose, do I want to get a 9 to 5, or you know what I'm saying? Can I just live off of this and focus on my digital side of things or the products? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And so you have kids. So you got your babies. You have 3 beautiful babies. How do you balance work and taking care of your babies?
Yeah, that sounds sweet. I love my babies. Shout out to the moms.
Come on, all the mommies.
I love mommies.
Yes.
I love y'all. You know, when people say balance, I did a video about this, and I'm like, you know what does this look like?
Yeah.
Honestly, Gigi, like, now that I don't work, I don't know how I was working and doing as much as I do now at home. I know for sure that my kids were not getting a healthy version of me, right? Like, I was I had to be tired. Doing 15 to 17 hours. You know, doing hair is demanding, and it could be a lot. And so doing all of that, I'm like, I had to be neglecting. Something was being neglected. And I look back, I'm like, dang, Jazz, your marriage, when I was married, I was so burned out. You know, I'm focused on the clients. Then you trying to, you know, your husband, and you got the kids. And I was exhausted and drained. I'm going to be honest. And so now when I think about it, well, Jazz, how are you balancing it? Because I don't physically have to work, and everything I do now is around my lifestyle. And so if I'm watering my plants, I may do a video, and then I'm gonna put a voiceover over and talk about how plants and hair is connected. That's actually one of my content videos for today. Okay. And so everything now is like around lifestyle. So it's not like I gotta fly to Bali and put on this and do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, oh, I'm cutting up, cooking this, you know, I'm doing massaging my daughter hair, put the camera on. So it doesn't feel like work, although it is to a lot of people. They're like, oh, you do a lot. I'm like, no, this is what I do around this house for these kids anyway, you know?
So you're like, I'm just recording.
Anyway. I'm just recording. I'm literally doing this anyway. So I'm not going out my way to do something. And whether I got on a bonnet, a robe, or whatever.
Natural. Yeah, you just show up transparently.
And like today's video is like, I'm just sitting there, oh, I think of this quickly video. So, you know, for me, it's not like, it doesn't feel like work, although it is a part, like there is some sort of mental behind it. So yeah, I don't really know like how to answer a balance question.
Okay.
Because I
feel the same way. People are like, how do you balance everything? I'm like, I just prioritize things. I don't know if it's really balanced.
Yeah.
But I just try to prioritize, you know,
what you want to get done.
My son, my husband, myself, my business. I just try to just doing it, you know? But I don't know if it's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like, does it feel like just like you just prioritizing what's more important?
I just feel like I'm going to always put me, my son, and my husband first. And then it's like,
sorry, clients.
I love my clients.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they are like supporting my career and my dream.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I first started, it was just me. So I could just be there all day and come in if they wanted me to come when I was off. And I gave them everything. But then once I started, you know, getting a husband and being a mom, it's like, now I got to prioritize my family first. 100%. And I feel like people should understand that.
100%.
Yeah.
And they do. I think, too, being a mom is one of those things that I don't think we be so on the grind. Like, you know, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to provide for you. Don't you want to? Your kids just want to do some chalkboard with you. You know what I mean? Your kids just want to go outside and throw some balloons with you. And so when we think about giving our kids so much, let's not forget about giving them a full love tank. How's your heart feeling today, baby? And so not just money and material things. And that's what I had to learn. Like, my kids just want to go to the park. Like, they just want to be in the sand.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily, even when you think they want these expensive trips. I've done it with my kids. They somewhere in the bushes. I'm like, get out of, we're at Disney. Why are you in the bushes? You know? And I'm like, because all they want to do is go play.
Yeah.
They just want a mom that's not burned out, that's not so tired from her clients, that can actually spend some quality time with them. And so I learned that I'm like, it really don't take much. Like, let's go to Five Below, spend $10, and they're going to be in heaven.
Yeah.
And so I think as moms, like, don't overthink it. Like, well, I got to do this. I'm planning for a trip. I'm working. Your baby just wants you to be present.
Yeah.
And so one of the best things that I can give my children right now is time, and you too. So think about that. That's why I was talking about that. Automated business system. Your babies need time.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, y'all be going into it. So here's the time where we start talking about, this is a segment, Dropping Gems with Gigi. You were already going into it, but I want you to drop 3 gems that you would give to an entrepreneur that, you know, may be pivoting or just needs some words of encouragement. What's 3 gems that you would drop for them?
And so the first one is going to be you creating your niche within a niche. If you're an entrepreneur and you're somebody that's like, I do braids, well, what is going to be the niche within a niche? Is it going to be, I focus on women who have TWAs, right? Or I focus on women who have alopecia. And so the niche within a niche is what you're going to focus on and specialize in. The next thing is posting all about your niche within a niche. And so if you're talking about braids with alopecia, give us some examples of that. I think that as an entrepreneur, you need to really think about automating your life. You need to figure out how you can start to have that automated business system, right? You need to have some sort of something that you're great at, even if you are not an entrepreneur, but you're great at baking cookies or you're great at baking, I don't know, that mac and cheese everybody always talk about. You can actually put that in a course and sell that information. I wish somebody had a course right now, y'all. Sorry, for a seafood dressing. I would be willing. I would be knocking at your door buying that because I want to make a seafood dressing. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the things. And then the next thing is just some encouraging words. Like, it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, or how you have to start. I want you to know that you are good enough to start where you are. And so despite the divorce, the abuse, the molestation, you feeling like I don't have support, you are good enough to start exactly where you are. Through the pain, the hurt, the deceitfulness, you can do it.
Yes, those were good, Jazz. So what do you have, you know, that's coming up, or what do you want the people to know about what you got going on right now?
Oh, thank you. And so I started back teaching. I had stopped teaching for like 2 years.
I remember you. I know. You had stopped and now we're back. Okay.
Yeah, I started back because after I spoke in front of that 40,000 women, the girls were like, Dr. Anita had now announced, she teach people how to grow their businesses. So I'm like, oh God. And God had already was calling me back to it. And so I created an inner circle to teach women for less than $10 a day. I think it's $297 a month, how to create their automated business system. And so, you know, instead of having it, you know, masterminds and inner circles are like 50,000, 30,000. So I wanted something that was affordable, but that could also get the girls results.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And can you share your social media handles? Where can people find you? Your website?
Yes, I'm Atlanta Hair Doctor across the board, y'all. Atlanta Hair Doctor. Hey. Thank you for having me. This is so good. I could do this all day.
So guys, that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Jasmine. You are watching Behind the Beauty with your girl Gigi Jeans. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.